Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Wednesday, May the 8th. Another two-game NBA slate today, Boston-Milwaukee in Game 5 of their series and Houston-Golden State in Game 5 as well. Like always, we're going to go through each position. We'll talk about some of the guys that I like on today's slate. We'll work our way through the player pool, and I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo. These are 5 players that I do specifically like for each site. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. But we're going to start off at point guard today. Top of this position, James Harden, 10,200 against Golden State. James Harden, obviously a good play today. Don't really need to say much. Giannis is also on this slate, though. Giannis is 100 more. Also, we have Kevin Durant for 900 less in that same game. And then you have guys like Kyrie, Curry, etc. I do like Harden today, but I think he's going to be behind Giannis. I think I'm going to be playing Giannis over Harden today, especially on Yahoo. Harden is 59, whereas Giannis is 56, so Giannis is actually cheaper. I really like Giannis over there. Kevin Durant, though, still remains way too cheap on Yahoo at 43. We'll talk about him when we get to small forward. On DraftKings, you can obviously pay up for Harden, but he's going to be sort of a secondary play for me on this slate. I really like going down to Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving for 2,000 less makes a ton of sense here in Game 5 against Milwaukee. So Kyrie came out and said after last game that he just had an overall terrible game. He shot 31% from the field, played 44 minutes, and only had 23 points, which is pretty bad for Kyrie, just 6 rebounds, 10 assists. He was still pretty decent for fantasy with 49 DraftKings points. Just didn't have that great of a game from the field. I would expect Kyrie to come out and play much better. Milwaukee has a chance to close out this series if they win this game. They're up 3-1 right now. So obviously the Celtics are kind of fighting for their lives right now. I expect Kyrie to come out and play very well. Don't know if they're going to be able to win this game, but I think Kyrie's going to give everything he has. And I really like paying up for him on this slate at 8,200. I think on Yahoo where he's $40, I really like him over here as well. I think he's a great play on both sides. I expect a big game out of Kyrie today. Steph Curry finally had a pretty decent game. Last game against Houston, 43 minutes and 49 DraftKings points. He's still going to be sort of a secondary play for me, though. I'm going to have him behind Kyrie Irving. I think I would just rather play Kyrie for 300 more. Chris Paul at 6,500, you could obviously go to. I think Chris Paul is just going to remain a pretty good play, slate by slate, just a guy that you can continue to roster. I don't think he's going to be a core play for me today, though. Eric Bledsoe is insanely cheap at 4,900, but this dude's just been so bad throughout this series. Just hasn't been able to get much going offensively. Best game of the series was on, I think it was the second game of the series where he had 25 or 35 DraftKings points in 26 minutes. George Hill has been taking some minutes away from Eric Bledsoe. If we look at George Hill, I think he could actually be in play today as a value. He's played about mid-20s in minutes every game in this series. Last 2 games especially, he's been very productive, 31 and 28 DraftKings points. If you do need a value play, I don't mind George Hill. Again, he's probably going to be sort of a secondary value because I think there's better cheap plays I would rather go to. But I do like me some George Hill today at 4,200 if you want to go cheap at this position. But talking about shooting guard, obviously you have like Harden, Curry you could play here. I really like Andre Iguodala again, 4,800 on DraftKings. Still remains underpriced in my opinion. On Yahoo, I think he's too cheap as well at $14. He's a guy that I really like here. Did get injured last game in Game 4. That's why he only played 29 minutes, but he's probable for Game 5. He's expected to play. I would expect Iguodala to get back to about 35, 36 minutes. Might even play more than that. He's been very good in this series, been actually pretty good for fantasy, contributing in all categories, getting points, rebounds, and picking up some assists as well. And Iguodala can obviously get defensive stats as well. So at 4,800, I think he can give you 30 DraftKings points and give you 6x value. So I really like him a lot if you need a cheap shooting guard. Just remains underpriced in my opinion. Don't want to skip over Eric Gordon, though. He's been really good in this series, especially the last 2 games. 40 and 30 DraftKings points, been playing huge minutes, been getting shots up as well, been taking about 15 to 20 shots per game. If that continues to be the case, which I think it will be, Eric Gordon definitely needs to be a guy we put on our radar. I do like Iguodala for cheaper though. Iguodala is 900 cheaper, so I really like him. But Gordon will probably be my second favorite shooting guard if you're going a little bit cheaper. And then you have George Hill at 4,200 as a cheap punt play that you could look to. But let's talk about some small forwards now. So on DraftKings, we have Giannis at 10,300, Kevin Durant at 9,300 as our two most expensive options here. I really like Giannis today. Guy just continues to play incredibly well, especially as of late. He's been awesome in this series the last two games, 69 and 70 DraftKings points. Last game, 39, 16, and 4. Game before that, 32, 13, and 8. He's been picking up defensive stats as well. Giannis just contributes in all categories. Not much needs to be said. Giannis is just a stud for fantasy. I expect him to continue to play well. Boston has a chance to close out this series, and if they want to do that, Giannis is going to have to put up a big game, and I think he does. I think game stacking this game and playing Kyrie and Giannis together makes a ton of sense. I expect both guys to really be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for their team. I expect big games out of both guys. So I really like Kyrie, and Giannis is sort of a mini game stack from this game. It's very tough, though, to play Giannis on Yahoo. I do like him. He's 56, but he's so hard to play over a guy like Kevin Durant, who's $13 cheaper. I think Durant's just a better play on Yahoo because he's so much cheaper. Like, if Durant was like $50, I think it would be very close between him and Giannis. But since Durant's so cheap at 43, he continues to be a core play for me on Yahoo. Not much needs to be said for Kevin Durant. Dude's been awesome in the postseason. Continues to play huge minutes every night, just putting up monster outings ever since Boogie went down. His usage rate has skyrocketed. His performance has been so much better. Durant's just doing a ton of the heavy lifting for the Warriors. So he's going to be the guy I look to the most on Yahoo, on DraftKings. I think I would rather get to Giannis for just 1,000 more. And then there's some value I want to talk about at small forward besides the guys I've already talked about, like Gordon. Marcus Morris and P.J. Tucker, I think, are two cheap guys you can look to. They continue to be good value plays. They continue to remain underpriced. Morris is $5,300 on DraftKings, and he's $18 on Yahoo. I like him on both sites. He just continues to produce in this series. Last three games, 30, 33, 40 DraftKings points, just remains underpriced. Got a double-double last game with 18 and 14, 2 assists as well. Playing about 30 to 34 minutes per night, he usually winds up in that range, and he's usually going to give you 25 to 35 DraftKings points somewhere in between there. Still remains too cheap. Morris should be like $6K with how well he's been playing. So the fact that he's still $5,300 on DraftKings, I'm just going to keep playing him at this cheap price tag. Same can be said for P.J. Tucker. He's been great in this series, especially as of late. He's still cheap on DraftKings at $5,100 and $17 on Yahoo. We pull up his game log. It also looks very good, especially the last three games, 33, 30, and 43 DraftKings points. He also got a double-double last game. 17 and 10, 3 assists, a block, and 2 steals in 42 minutes. We know Tucker's going to play huge minutes every night, whether the game's competitive or not. Tucker's going to be out there for 40-plus minutes. He can get corner threes. If he can get open and knock a couple threes down and get a couple rebounds, can easily return value on this cheap price tag. So him and Morris still remain two of the better value plays, in my opinion. I really like them if you're going cheap at small forward or power forward. Those are probably the only cheap guys I like at this position, though. I don't think I'm going to be going to like Connaughton or Hayward or Brown. Those are the guys I really like. So moving on to power forward now, there's really two guys I want to talk about at this position, Draymond Green and Al Horford. I think both guys are pretty good plays, especially Horford on Yahoo still remains the best play because if we pull up the center pricing, he's 25, Capella's 25, Lopez is 21. You're going to have to play one of those three guys. Horford at 25 clearly remains the best option on Yahoo. So I like him quite a bit over there. On DraftKings, since you can play Draymond Green at center, I think I would rather play Draymond Green for just 500 more. But both guys are for sure in play for me. Those are really the guys I'm liking at this position. But I expect to be playing a lot of Morris, a lot of Giannis, and a lot of Tucker at power forward. So let's quickly go over center now. So center, kind of the same thing as power forward. Draymond Green, Al Horford are the two guys I really like at this position. Don't think I'm going to be playing Capella or Mirotic or Lopez, any of those guys much. I expect a lot of my center ownership to go to Green and Horford, mainly Draymond Green on DraftKings, and on Yahoo, I'll be playing a lot of Al Horford over there. So that's it for center, guys. I think that is it for the video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you did enjoy, make sure you click that like button down below before you get out of here. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Feel free to click that subscribe button so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.